What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is BigfryTV, and today I want to talk to you guys about Insurgency Sandstorm, the future of Insurgency Sandstorm, and kind of a retrospective look at some of the opinions that I myself and other people in this community have held. And this video is sponsored by Frag Pro Shooter. No, it's not Raid Shadow Legends. It's actually one of the best mobile shooters of 2020, specifically designed for mobile devices with more than 30 million players. Your goal in the game is to destroy enemy bunkers as quick as possible. Once the two bunkers are destroyed, you'll be able to access their tower and destroy it to win. And as you level up, you can collect more characters, more than 80 to collect in total, and each of them are designed with like a unique gameplay purpose in mind, specific roles, strengths, and weaknesses. And then out of those over 80 characters, you can choose your favorite characters and build a team of 5, and you can kind of set up your own strategies between attack and defensive types of gameplay. During the game, you can control one character and the other 4 are controlled by bots. You can switch between different characters whenever you want. You can also have a third person and a first person option as well. Now they've added a new 2v2 mode, so you can now play with your friends. You choose 3 characters from your deck of 5 while your partner will get the other 2. And if you use my link down below, you will get free rewards. Only by using that link, you get 1 golden chest, 500 coins, 50 diamonds, all worth $6. Shout out to Frag Pro Shooter for sponsoring the video. So if you guys have been fans of the channel for a while, you know that I have been a huge fan, supporter, follower of Insurgency Sandstorm, and more specifically NWI when they've done their little dips into games like Day of Infamy. I'm a huge FPS fan, and Insurgency gave me something that not a lot of other games gave me, and that was a really more immersive, I say hardcore in the sense of a very low time to kill, still fast-paced, still arcade-style movement, but every move you made, every shot you had to take counted when it came to Insurgency, and I think that's what drew it to me in the first place. Being able to watch and shoutcast some of the more competitive aspects of Insurgency Source back in the day was incredible. To watch those guys play on such a high level, like I thought I was good, those guys just destroy everything, and it was an absolute joy to watch back in the day. And when Insurgency Sandstorm came out, I was a fan of where it was at the current moment, and then when I realized months and months were going by, we weren't hearing anything from the developers, things weren't really happening. I mean, obviously, again, if you've been fans of the channel for a while, you guys know the criticisms. I feel like I have to catch up all the new people, but I also feel at this point there's really no point in repeating it 100 times over in every video. Just go back and watch the history. And I think if you look at a lot of creators now who are talking about Sandstorm who aren't partners or who aren't, you know, big guys like Jack Frags who are just getting paid to showcase the game, you're going to find a lot of criticism being levied against the developers. And some of it rightfully so, some of it spawned from conversations that I had back last year, back in October, and I believe I released another video in December. I know personally that those videos have reached the developers, and I know that they have felt a certain type of way in the past about things that I have said, even though my overall thought process and thoughts towards the game I thought was actually pretty positive. I loved and played the absolute shit out of Insurgency Sandstorm. And I just watched a video recently from Durag where he was talking kind of the same stuff about how they kind of fumbled the ball coming out of the gate, and how it's, you know, still not optimized for a lot of systems, and how, you know, they dropped the esports scene right off the bat. The content has been kind of lackluster. And as I was watching it, it's almost as if something kind of just connected for me, if that makes sense. Something just hooked up in my brain, in which I started looking at this whole situation that I have been a part of with Insurgency. I'm looking at it at a whole different angle now. And I don't know if this is part of this whole retrospective feeling that I've been having lately, but it's really giving me a different perspective on a lot of topics. And this is the one that I wanted and opted to go to, because I know a lot of you guys are still playing Insurgency Sandstorm, or you're sitting here telling me to make a video on the lack of content, or whatever the case is. Wherever you guys come from, this is how I'm feeling about Insurgency Sandstorm as of June 2020, going into the summer. I really feel like the game is living up to the fact that when it came out, with the discount that they gave us for owning the first one, as well as the initial sale discount, I think you picked it up for $24 at the time if you had both of those to be able to stack. I think now the game's $28 American. It's something like $36 Canadian. And I think about the amount of time that I've been able to get out of the game, kind of coming back every now and again, playing their new updates, not really playing it as religiously as I did at launch, which is okay. I got like 240 hours out of the game. And a lot of those hours came from, you know, the initial launch window, the first 3 or 4 months of the game. And back then, I had a lot of expectations for the game. I felt that they had a chance to secure a really good niche, smaller, but still solid esports league or esports community kind of surrounding a game. I felt that Firefight was one of the most competitive game modes of any FPS that I think I've ever played. I know the casuals don't really enjoy it, but there's a reason why it is the competitive game mode in Insurgency. Back then I had a lot of expectation. I had a lot of wants. I had a lot of desires for where this game could go. And I think back then I was so wrapped up in their success. I wanted NWI to win so bad. I still do, but I'm just speaking back then. I wanted them to be the most successful FPS indie game of all time. Why? Because A, I like the people there, and B, I like the game, and C, I think that the indie scene at the time, I was covering so much trash after garbage after trash, that I just wanted to see somebody win for once. And I think that kind of carried through to, you know, the end of last year. I was getting a little bit angry. My expectations were not being met as somebody who, not as just like an angry gamer, which I feel like some people do think that I am, but I think with that game specifically, I was so wanting them to win, and when things weren't going their way, it was just like, fuck me, you had it. You fuck it. If we would have did this, we would have did that. But at the end of the day, I feel like us as a community, gamers in general, I feel like our expectations are so high. And just ride with me here. It's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, gamers are... It's not that. It's maybe this one isn't NWI's golden ticket. And I think that thought didn't even cross my mind back then. Maybe this one isn't it. Maybe NWI is poised to make 2 or 3 more games until they can start to hit the big leagues, right? If you really think about NWI, they've released Insurgency Source, the standalone. They've released Day of Infamy. They've released Insurgency Sandstorm, and that's it. And maybe it had to do with the fact that they were marketing for a console release, that this kind of felt like it was going to have a quality that was so far beyond what every other indie shooter was doing at the time, indie game in general. It felt like it was reaching into that AA/ potentially AAA status in terms of the marketing, the promotional material, the videos, everything. All the trailers were so high quality. It was put together so well. The game looked incredible when you could run it. And I think all of that contributed to the fact, like, this seems like it's going to be the game that is going to reach the masses. And I'm stepping back now and I'm thinking, like, it's a $24 indie game or a $28 indie game. I think it's $18 right now on sale. It's like 50% off. But if you think about it, like, it's not even close to AAA. I mean, and obviously with the people who are complaining about the real issues like optimization, performance, lack of content, I could see an argument for. But at the end of the day, I feel like, at least with my expectation, I can only talk about my experience. I definitely expected a lot from NWI. And watching criticisms being levied against them, whether they're legitimate or not, I feel like my expectations have been shifted, or at least my viewpoint on what my expectation should be is shifted. Sandstorm is an incredible shooter. If you can run the game and you have played the game, you know that it's fucking fantastic. You know that it isn't the perfect shooter. You know that it might lack a little bit of polish, but you know that you paid $28 for it if you paid for it at full price. And if you can get some games out of it, if you can get 28 hours out of it, which I personally think you obviously can, unless you don't like the game. But if you enjoy it, I feel like you can buy this game and just enjoy it for what it is. And that's something that I think a lot of us are losing sight on when we're talking. And you can take this idea and you can put it to games like Deadside. You can put it to games like Escape from Tarkov, where you might be waiting for a certain thing, but at the end of the day, Tarkov costs you $40, Deadside costs you $20, and you can just enjoy it for what it is. A lot of people can't seem to do that. We're always looking at, where's this game going to be in 2 years? What's going to happen? Where's the roadmap? What's going on? Where are you taking this game in the future? And like when I look at Deadside, I have 80 some hours out of a $20 purchase. And I'm asking for roadmaps. I'm asking for the future of the title. But also I realize that me getting frustrated over it is not, it's kind of like the reverse of the saying, like you can't see the forest for the trees, right? You can't see the bigger picture. I find that gamers nowadays, and I've seen this sentiment a lot in comments that get sent to me, it's like we see only the big picture that's not there. And that makes us not like the tree that's standing in front of us. And at the end of the day, it's not like that tree is bad. But when we put the big picture out there of what we want and what we think the game could be, even if it's not even in the developer's mind like that, I don't think when NWI launched Insurgency Sandstorm that they expected a huge esports presence. But if you think back to the time, that's something that a lot of players actually looked for. And there was really no signs that it was going to be that way, especially when we were looking at Insurgency Source's competitive scene, which was already small. But I think, again, it comes down to the way they marketed it, just the quality that they held themselves to, the standard that they held themselves to on social media, in all aspects. I just think that we need to slow it the fuck down. And again, this was nothing about what Durag was specifically saying that was like I thought it was bad or anything. He was levying some real criticism towards them, but something just in my brain, I was like, maybe it's because I heard it one too many times, where I was like, dude, we got our time out of it. And if you didn't get your time out of it, it is what it is. I think for me personally, just looking back, I think I put a lot of expectations on the studio, and maybe that wasn't fair. I do think that the lack of content, and I did think that the lack of optimization that actually could have brought a bigger player base to it. I think those kind of discussions definitely have a lot of merit. If you're talking about what they're actively doing when they're bringing in game modes that you don't think jive with the community and they're doing stuff like that, I think those conversations have merit because you're actually talking about things that are happening in real time. And I think this is a very healthy discussion, at least for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. This is a very collaborative, like, thought process activity. And I would love to hear your guys' comments down below on all of this, because I'm going into Dead Matter with as little expectation as possible. And like I said, NWI is kind of like the kickstart for me here. There goes my phone. Email, probably some Russian trying to advertise some bullshit program to hack my YouTube account. Let me check here, actually. Oh, who would have fucking thought? It actually was. This whole idea of just blown out of proportion expectations. I mean, obviously the general gaming public probably doesn't give a fuck. But I think for me personally, I want to make sure that when I'm giving you guys fair critique, being honest. I mean, everything was honest before, but I feel like it wasn't as fair as it could have been, if that makes sense to you guys. And again, I've been on such a good, positive kick lately that I'm just coming at things from completely different perspectives, and being able to think like this has been just incredible for me. And I might be out to lunch here. Dude, I don't even know. This is just a video that I wanted to put out, get your guys' thoughts on, and just figure out how we can approach discussions of video games in A, a less toxic light, B, a more constructive light, and C, just figure out the easiest path to get from A to B. And I think that's for my indie devs who reach out every single day and they say your videos help, and they help us, you know, maneuver and navigate and figure out our promotional and how we're going to do things right and wrong. You guys are always in the back of my mind when I'm thinking about how I approach every situation. And this is just a little bit of form of growth for me that I want to make sure I do right by all of you. Because at the end of the day, without game developers, I'm kind of out of a job. Straight up. And a lot of people just out, you know, a bigger picture than even me, a lot of people are kind of out enjoyment. We need people to create good products, but we need people to also keep their expectations in check. Let me know if I'm just rambling on, if this shit even makes any sense to you guys. I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation. And Durag, the YouTuber, go check him out as well. He was kind of like the kickstart to me looking at that whole situation from just a completely different angle, being able to take a step completely out of that and just look at it for what it was. My name is BigfryTV, and if you guys do want to check out Frag Pro Shooter, again, the link is down in the description below. There's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of good things that are happening for me. And everybody who watches the videos, everyone who is subscribed, everyone who is a member, who is literally giving your guys' hard-earned money every month, whether it's $1, $5, $24, whatever it is, just know that I appreciate you guys, like, more than you know. More than I can fucking say. I'm usually very, like, cold and, like, you know, thank you guys for, you know, support, but, like, seriously, it's been a crazy year, and I'm super glad to be able to do what I do. And I think that's maybe why I'm looking at all this stuff differently. Like, I want to make sure I'm doing the best by my viewers, by developers, and by this fucking industry. Because this industry is in a weird spot right now. I don't know if you guys are seeing the shit on Twitter. Everybody and their dog is getting Me Too'd. Shit is crazy. Let's stick to video games and do it right. My name is BigfryTV, and I'll see you on the next one.